What happens after we die? It's a question that humans have pondered for centuries. It's a mystery that continues to fascinate and frighten us. But really, there are only two options. We continue or we don't. That's it. Two possibilities. It's like flipping a coin, heads or tails, life or no life, consciousness or oblivion. This might seem overly simplistic. Death is a complex subject surrounded by ritual and emotion. But at its core, the question boils down to this fundamental choice, and it's a choice with enormous implications. The answer, if we could ever know it, would change everything about how we see the world. Let's consider the first possibility. We don't continue. When we die, that's it. The lights go out, our bodies decompose, and we become one with the earth. If this is true, then there's not much more to say. No heaven, no hell, no reincarnation, just the end of our individual experience. Some people find this idea comforting. There's a certain peace in knowing that death is the final chapter. No more worries, no more pain, just eternal rest. Others find it terrifying. The thought of our consciousness simply ceasing to exist can be difficult to accept. We want to believe that some part of us lives on. But if death truly is the end, then we should embrace the time we have, live each day to the fullest, knowing that it could be our last. Now let's explore the second possibility. We do continue after death. But what does that mean? Does it involve pearly gates and fiery pits, as some religions suggest? Probably not. These images, while vivid, are likely symbolic. They represent our hopes and fears about the afterlife, but they may not reflect reality. So if traditional heaven and hell are unlikely, what other options exist? This is where things get really interesting. We have to start thinking outside the box, beyond our limited human understanding. If consciousness persists after death, it might exist in a realm beyond our current comprehension. A realm not bound by time, space, or even the laws of physics as we know them. Section 4. What makes us, us? To understand what might continue after death, we need to ask what makes us, us? Is it our physical bodies, our memories, our emotions? Clearly our bodies don't last forever. They decay and return to the earth. So if something continues, it must be something beyond our physical form. What about our consciousness? After all, our consciousness is responsible for our thoughts, feelings, and memories. Could our consciousness somehow be the key to our continued existence? This is where science bumps up against the unknown. While we know a lot about how the brain works, we still don't fully understand consciousness. Section 5. The mystery of consciousness. Consciousness is one of the biggest mysteries in science. It's our awareness of ourselves and the world around us. It's what allows us to experience joy, love, sadness, and wonder. But what is consciousness exactly? Is it simply the result of neurons firing in our brains? Or is it something more? Something that exists independently of our physical bodies? Some scientists believe that consciousness is an emergent property of the brain. In other words, it arises from the complex interactions of billions of neurons. Others believe that consciousness is fundamental, like space and time. They argue that the brain doesn't create consciousness, but rather it receives and processes it. Section 6. A universe of imagination. If consciousness is fundamental, then it's possible that it continues after death, freed from the limitations of our physical bodies. But what would that look like? We can only speculate, of course. But imagine for a moment that our consciousness, after death, enters a realm of pure imagination, a realm where our thoughts and desires manifest instantly. In this realm, we might be able to revisit our favorite memories, explore distant galaxies, or even create entirely new worlds. The only limit would be our imagination. This is just one possibility, of course, but it's a tantalizing thought. If consciousness continues after death, it might be far more wondrous and expansive than we can currently imagine.